So hello there and welcome to the Bitcoin Takeover podcast. I'm here in Prague with Sodomak, who is a long-time crypto anarchist. That's what he describes himself as. And he has been involved with Paralelni Polis for longer than 7 years, if I understood that correctly. And he has a lot of stuff to say, a lot of stories to tell. He has been involved in this space and he is a co-organizer of the Paralelni Polis conference, which takes place every year, which is also called the Hackers Congress, if I'm not mistaken. So please, sir, introduce yourself and let us know what you're up to these days.
Hi, good to be here. Actually, as I said, I'm a long-term member, maybe former manager of Paralelni Polis. I've been here since the year 2014, from the almost very beginning of Paralelni Polis. And I was responsible mostly for like technical stuff here at Paralelni Polis and during the Hackers Congress. As you mentioned, I consider myself as a crypto anarchist and maybe privacy advocate. I'm IT guy, usually. I actually quit at Paralelni Polis from the official position in the beginning of February, but I'm still visiting Paralelni Polis to have a great coffee here in Bitcoin Coffee, which is, by the way, the very first cafe which was accepting Bitcoin only, very first in the world. Maybe still the only one, but I'm not sure about this. Yeah, don't know what to say more.
It's definitely interesting that something happened last year with Paralelni Polis. I know that there's also a Slovak branch of the organization. You have 2 Twitter accounts. There's one that's only Paralelni Polis, and there's one which is Paralelni_Polis. And it's also the one which organizes the Pizza Day conference next month. So what happened there? I'm not into the drama, but I'm into understanding, what happened.
Like it's nothing particular like last year's event, but Paralelni Polis as organization is open source. So anybody in the world can open their own Paralelni Polis. So it's what did guys do in Bratislava. It was, 3-4 years ago, maybe. So they opened their own venue called Paralelni Polis, which is we usually told the people to use the local language for the name of the organization, which means parallel polis, from parallel and polis from the Greek word city or society. They also opened their own venue. It ran for 1 year or something like that, but then they had some issues with the landlord of the venue, and they had to shut down the business there, and they moved completely to the virtual, to internet. There is also the branch, let's call it branch or fork, in Vienna, in Austria. It's like, as I said, Paralelni Polis is open source platform, and so there are no any arguments or fights for the brand or something like that. And Pizza Day is actually organized here at Prague by Prague branch of Paralelni Polis. But we are like cooperating with the Slovak guys also.
So let's take it back to the values of Paralelni Polis and what it stands for. You describe yourself as a crypto anarchist, and I'm pretty sure that this term existed before cryptocurrency, and crypto means cryptography. So you're also the former CDO of Paralelni Polis, so it means you're very technical. So is this about privacy? Is this about building tools to protect people from oppressive governments? And also, I know that there's a specific philosophy which can be tracked back to maybe Havel, the former president of Czechoslovakia, which talks about having parallel societies where people can express themselves under oppressive regimes. So I guess I have like three parts of the question: the values, crypto anarchy, and the origins of these values.
The values of Paralelni Polis they are strongly connected to the crypto anarchy. We also have on our building the writing that it's Institute of Crypto Anarchy. The values are mostly about freedom and I would say voluntarism, to not being forced to do things or stuff you don't want to do, and to have as much privacy as possible or as you wish. And this is a connection to crypto anarchy. As you said, the term crypto anarchy is much older than term cryptocurrencies, and crypto means actually hidden. So this is all the roots of it. Crypto anarchy was introduced like in the late 80s or maybe beginning of 90s of 20th century, and what we here are doing, we are combining the ideas of two great men. One of them is Timothy C. May. He wrote the Crypto Anarchy Manifesto, and the other guy is Václav Benda.
I think it's cypherpunk manifesto.
No. Crypto Anarchy Manifesto. It's different topic. Cypherpunks were more like the guys inventing ciphers and stuff like that, doing it in the basements, in the garages, and so usually not in the universities. And crypto anarchists are, I would say, maybe more like. I would differentiate it like that. Cypherpunks were mathematicians, and crypto anarchists more philosophers. But there is no straight line between those. Yeah, and the ideas behind Paralelni Polis, it's combining the ideas of crypto anarchy, how it was introduced by Timothy C. May and Václav Benda, who was like friend and one of the co-author of Charter 77, which was kind of manifesto in the 70s in former Czechoslovakia, and it stated some ideas about oppressive communism regime here in Czechoslovakia, and Václav Benda was collaborating with in writing it also with Václav Havel and other guys from Charter 77 movement. And Václav Benda was a philosopher, and he was a writer, and he wrote an essay called Paralelni Polis. And he described there that it's almost impossible to fight with the enemy who has infinitive sources. It's basically suicide. So better approach is to create own structures within the larger society, and not to fight and to make it parallel. Yeah, and that's what our roots of Paralelni Polis as our organization, combining the ideas of Václav Benda, Paralelni Polis, with the technology introduced by cypherpunks and crypto anarchists.
So do you see Paralelni Polis as a way to resist, or as an alternative just in case the government once again becomes oppressive?
I would consider it as an organization to We usually call ourselves as educational organizations, and we want to actually teach people how to get the mostly independent on the higher structures or larger societies. It necessarily doesn't mean the state. It can mean any oppressive organization. Also, it can be some church or some, I don't like the term, but organized crime. So as I said, it necessarily doesn't mean the state. Usually it is state, but not exclusively. And I'm not sure if a resistance is the right term. Like probably yes, but I like the term "don't give a fuck." Yeah, this is like let the others do their stuff and we do our stuff, and we know how to do it without be too much affected by others.
As someone who grew up in a former communist country, and I guess you're older than me and you caught the times before 1989, I have a lot of respect for those who taught each other and tried to resist the oppression. And I know that culturally there's a lot of resistance in Czechia and also Slovakia. It was Czechoslovakia at the time. And I guess after the revolution, Nivanas in Romania took some examples, because you had, was it Dubček from Czechoslovakia?
Yeah.
He had that socialism with a human face, which was like a tag for, you know, a milder form of communism, which was still bad, but a lot better than what we had. And then you also had all of these ideas about resisting, which are very good. And there's the famous spring, Prague Spring in 1968, to which, by the way, Romania did not participate from the USSR side. So yes, I have a lot of respect for what you guys are doing. And right now I gotta ask you about Pizza Day, because I know that one's coming. And why did you choose Pizza Day of all celebrations in Bitcoin? And also, are you going to have Laszlo Hanyecz join?
I was 12 when communism fell in 1989, so I don't remember much more. And I would like to add that not all. We usually say that the governments are bad, but governments are not equally bad. The communist regime in Czechoslovakia was much milder than communist regime in Romania, introduced by Ceausescu, which I guess he rose by the Prague Spring. He refused to join the army to invade Czechoslovakia. But anyway, Pizza Day.
We did invade Hungary.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that if something would happen somewhere else, Czechoslovakia would join to Czechoslovakia. It was not the orders were not from the Prague, or everything came from Moscow. But anyway, Pizza Day. The reason why to create such a event is Paralelni Polis. Even it's usually called that. It's not like Bitcoin organization. As I mentioned, we are mostly freedom focused, and we see the Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a tool, not as a goal. But Bitcoin is we consider as a great invention and a great gainer of possibilities to gain freedoms. So why to not celebrate this? And unfortunately we don't have Laszlo this year. Hopefully next year he is coming to celebrate with us.
Golden Bitcoin of Voltoro, golden Bitcoin of Voltoro, golden Bitcoin of Voltoro, golden
Voltoro is the exchange where you deal with honest and hard money. There is no fiat on-ramp or off-ramp, and you get to diversify your Bitcoin portfolio into gold or silver when you sense that a bearish moment is coming. Also, you can instantly trade your gold for Bitcoin to buy the dip. And if you're into gold custody, Voltoro can also send you the gold that you own directly from their insured Swiss vaulting facilities. Voltoro was launched in the aftermath of the Mt. Gox hack. So since 2015, they have published monthly glass books to prove that they own all the gold reserves and all of their customers' money. Sign up today by going to voltoro.com/Bitcoin takeover. Keep in mind that this is not financial advice and you are responsible for your own decisions. Wasabi Wallet is the perfect Bitcoin privacy wallet. It's free, it's open source, it's available on Windows, macOS, and Linux, and it offers groundbreaking Chaumian CoinJoins, which makes your Bitcoin. Even if you do not use the CoinJoin feature, you still benefit from a trustless experience with block filters, a hidden IP address via Tor, and easy management of your wallet outputs. After you deal with KYC exchanges like Coinbase, like Kraken, Binance, Gemini, or Bitfinex, you can remove the association between your identity and your Bitcoin address by performing a few rounds of CoinJoins. To find out more about the privacy benefits and limitations of CoinJoins, listen to Bitcoin Takeover Podcast Season 6, Episode 6 with Max Hilbrand. And if you want to give Wasabi a try, go to wasabiwallet.io and download the wallet for free. Wasabi Wallet, a Bitcoin privacy wallet for the citadels.
Yeah, a lot of people make fun of him for selling so many thousands of Bitcoins for 2 pizzas, but at the same time, we got to remember that at the time, Bitcoins had no market value. So the fact that today is worth like $40,000 was started by someone who actually sold something digital for something physical in the real world. So that's how markets develop. And I'm pretty sure that, at Paralelni Polis, you have held Bitcoins when they were like a few dollars and you use them as money. You did not consider, the store of value function. You just wanted to use a currency that doesn't use the banking system, that is not controlled by the government, and that you can transact freely. So I guess a lot of people miss that, and today we have this side which is only about speculation. You buy and hodl and never sell. But I feel like they miss part of the point of the currency. What is your experience lately with Bitcoin? Like, I suppose you got in a lot earlier than me, and you deal with people who maybe got in last year and they have a different perception. So what would you tell them about Bitcoin? What are they missing from this whole experience?
Yeah, absolutely right. One thing is that many people think that we are a rich organization or rich people because we joined the party in the beginning. But Paralelni Polis is a non-profit organization, and it wasn't like in 2014 and even years later. It wasn't like that we got bitcoins or we received the bitcoins for the coffee or something like that, and we kept them. No, we had to pay rent, and so it was circulation of Bitcoin. So now when we as you said, it doesn't make sense to compare buying coffee for Bitcoin in 2014 or pizza and with the same value in or same amount of Bitcoins paying for coffee today. It doesn't make sense, really. And to your question, I'm not sure if I would say that they are missing something. It's it's funny that we sometimes complain how Bitcoin evolved this day, but actually Bitcoin is still the same. Of course, there are some improvements on the protocol level or so, but basically Bitcoin is the same. What changed is that there are like way more people using it than it was 2, 3, 5 years ago, and that's totally understandable that people are using it as an investment mostly. Yeah, I totally get it, and sometimes, of course, it's annoying. But still, you can. What's more annoying are that it's maybe more difficult to get Bitcoin anonymously, but it's still doable. But I know all those KYC and AML shits. They will be there still, but we still have some decentralization markets, decentralized markets, or if you are within the people who are using it, you still can do it anonymously, and that's maybe like what would be great if the more and more people will realize that they don't need to use Bitcoin as just for a HODL. They don't need to have their Bitcoins on some exchanges. That they can have they can be their own bank, as the famous statement about Bitcoin is. But it's also to be your own bank means you have to have all the responsibility for it. It's not just good things. It's there is the difficult part, and I totally understand that people don't fully understand how Bitcoin works, what's behind that, and so they don't trust themselves that much, that they rather put their Bitcoins to some exchange, to some Binance or something like that. So I'm perfectly fine with it. Like do with your Bitcoins what do you please to do with them. If, of course, not your keys, not your Bitcoin, but I think it's similar with the fiat money. You don't need to know how money works to use them. Nobody knows how, like almost nobody knows how a credit card works. Nobody knows what's like encryption behind transaction. Yeah, but everybody use it, like really. So, and of course, if you are using, you can use fiat in an anonymous way. You can use cash, and you can use it like in the way that the governments or banks know all your transactions. Yeah, so would be great, and this is what is one of the goals of Paralelni Polis as an educational organization, to teach people how to use Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies in a way that they will gain their own financial freedom with it. Yeah, so I'm not like I'm probably not the biggest hater of the most common usage of cryptocurrencies as an investment, but I'm more on the side of educational part of it, to let people decide what they want to do with their money.
That's also part of the reason why I do this podcast. I feel like it has an educational component. And last season, when I recorded with counterparty people, basically, we talked about how Bitcoin is so much more than money. You can use it to have fun. You can use it to create, frog memes and put them as upper turn transactions?
Yeah, Bitcoin is awesome. Like I really love Bitcoin, and it doesn't mean don't get me wrong. I'm not Bitcoin maximalist. It doesn't mean that if I love Bitcoin, that I hate other cryptocurrencies. I work for I work for Aurora, which is part of the Near network. Yeah, so
I don't know what that is.
doesn't matter. It's it's like not. I don't want to be. As I said, I don't want to be like Bitcoin maximalist. As I said, I love Bitcoin, but doesn't mean that it's the only coin I'm gonna use or I'm gonna shilling for. Yeah. I'm not gonna shill for anything. Yeah, but it's actually surprising that how many people, even people who are like longer in the scene, and I mean like longer. I mean year or two, and they have lots of funds in cryptocurrencies, and they still don't know how does it work. Like it's on the one way it's surprising. On the other hand, it's understandable. As I mentioned, almost nobody know how the money, how the fiat money works. So,
Yeah, I guess it's only natural because we don't really think when we pay something, we don't think about what happens to the money. We are mostly concerned with what we can buy with that money. But at the same time, I'm concerned that we are facing this financialization phase of Bitcoin, where it's being embedded into mainstream finance, and everyone sees into it as some sort of extension to a financial system which already exists. I did see this year at the Miami conference that they're talking about how to put the dollar on the Lightning Network and stuff like that. And that kind of made me wonder, like, are we still trying to replace the dollar, or are we just accepting that the dollar is going to be around for a long time and we're going to build infrastructure for it to exist? Like, how long until we do CBDCs on Lightning Network or whatever? It just makes me wonder where we are heading philosophically, because this started as, a crypto anarchist project. People who got in very early were so pro privacy or so pro private property. Some of them were Austrian economists, others were computer scientists, cypherpunks. And now we have these bankers who join the space and they buy a lot of coins and everyone's so happy. And they're like, oh yeah, we are becoming mainstream. But at the same time, they also create education platforms, which make sure that newbies follow their advice and their understanding of what Bitcoin is. And my concern is that in the future, even the development is going to be funded by these people, which is going to mean that maybe they will not develop something that we want, but something that these bankers want. And we're going to end up with a takeover from the inside. And we're not going to be the one that destroyed their system. Some people say that this is a Trojan horse from Bitcoin, but it's becoming very hard to see where we are heading. So what's your take on that?
I wouldn't say that it's like Trojan horse because I guess there is no such a master plan behind Bitcoin. And actually, it's to me it's really interesting because like a few years ago we were loved when someone came with the idea of private blockchain. Something like that. Man, this doesn't make sense. Like, and it still doesn't make sense, but it's happening. There are billions of dollars in it. And with the replacing US dollar, I don't think we are some close to it replacing. I guess the cryptocurrencies will create, and probably it already did, like parallel economics. But it's similar to Paralelni Polis. Like, it's not it's not about fighting. It's about create the own structures, and it's actually happening. And it's happening mostly on voluntary basis, which is great. Where there is no. I know probably not everybody will agree with me in this way, but there is no single entity who is ruling the Bitcoin. or other decentralized cryptocurrencies. So it's I guess it's interesting times because we are actually reinventing money in a different way these days, and it's a great time to be on Earth.
It's definitely exciting and interesting. And let's take it back to Paralelni Polis, because I did notice that you guys have an ATM. When you enter the place, you see an ATM. Is that without KYC? Like, can you buy Bitcoin with cash and move it to your own wallet?
Yes, but not any amount. The ATM here is not actually running by us. It's running by General Bytes, which is company behind the ATMs, and there are some limits where you can buy Bitcoin, Litecoin, and the Bitcoin via Lightning network without KYC. But of course not like unlimited amount, because there is company behind it, and it still here we are under the Czech Republic laws, and Czech Republic of course joined the party with KYC shit. So there are some limits, but yeah, usually people from within the organization they don't use ATM. So that's why I'm not pretty sure what the limits are, because I don't use the ATM, because I have friends who Bitcoin I can buy it anonymously. But from time to time I do it and for amount like for the coffee and maybe some T-shirt or something like that. So not high value. So basically, yes, you can buy Bitcoin there without KYC until some limits.
So let's say that a Bitcoin newbie steps through the door. They're in Prague, they're tourists, and they want to learn more about Bitcoin. Do you think that at any given moment they can find someone who can teach them something, or can answer some questions that they may ask?
Yeah, that's the actual purpose of Bitcoin Coffee, as it was open in 2014. And remember, in 2014, nobody knew about what Bitcoin is. Like now, it's like almost everybody knows what Bitcoin is. But back then, we opened the cafe, and there was no other option than Bitcoin for payments. So it was of course on purpose. We wanted to introduce Bitcoin to the people, and if of course that was the choice. You can create the cafe where you can pay for the coffee with Bitcoin and fiat. But for the newcomers, those days, now it's much better, but newcomers those days, it was a pain in the ass to pay with Bitcoin, because they knew shit about it. They don't have wallets, they don't have anything. So we called it Bitcoin torture. As we were forcing people to pay with Bitcoin, which they didn't have, but they got the delicious coffee for it, one of the best in the Prague. Yeah. So and it's still there are people coming to Paralelni Polis. They don't know. They maybe heard about Bitcoin, but they don't have anything. Like they don't have wallets. They don't have knowledge. But within like I would say 3 minutes, they can have their own Bitcoin wallet with some satoshis in it, and have a great delicious coffee and pay for it with Bitcoin. That's the main purpose of Bitcoin Coffee.
I did see that you have a hallway with paintings. I'm not sure if they're paintings, but there's art of lots of famous cypherpunks. You have Tim May, you have Nick Szabo, David Chom, Hal Finney, and lots of others who have contributed to the space over the years. Did any of them, visit here when they were in town ever? Like, I'm not trying to blow their OPSEC or whatever, but you can just say yes or no. You don't have to name any names.
Yeah, some of them were here. Unfortunately, Timothy Simay haven't been here. But we had him on a remote talk during Hackers Congress. I guess it's on our YouTube channel. Yeah, but some of them you mentioned they were here.
Yeah, that's really good to hear, because I suppose that when you enter Paralelni Polis, it's likely that you're going to meet someone that you know from Twitter. Maybe that they will not say hello from the first moment, but if you know who you should be looking for, you're going to find someone who can talk to you about Bitcoin and maybe explain to you something new, have a talk over the, famous coffee that you have, which supposedly is delicious, but I don't drink coffee, so sorry.
But we have also delicious chocolate, no?
Yeah, I did like the chocolate, so I can attest to that. And you also have some of the nicest merchandise. Like, I'm,
This is my favorite one. Like black on black, because we are like black and white organization. It's in our DNA. With merch, it's funny because I still cannot forget the statement one of our visitors did. It's like, I don't know, 5 years ago, something like that. There were two maybe older middle-aged guys from Germany. They were like 50s, 60s, something like that. And both of them bought our T-shirt, Institute of Crypto Anarchy. And one of the guy told other, hey, you said you never wear the T-shirt or anything with logos. And he said, man, it's not a logo, it's a message. And that's what I love about this. Yeah. And as you mentioned that you want to meet someone you know from Twitter. It was in 2017, I guess. We had here Andreas Antonopoulos, and he actually taught our former Minister of Finance and later on Prime Minister Andrej Babiš what Bitcoin is. Actually,
yeah, it's interesting that you need someone from another country to come. Well, the Czech Republic has the Trezor people and has a lot of, they are more OG than Andreas, but it takes someone from the outside to step in and basically teach about policy. There's
some story behind this. It was not like that. Andreas had to come to teach finance minister about Bitcoin. Other guys from Trezor been here, but it was more about that we had. It was during the Hackers Congress. And there is the wall near to Paralelni Polis, and there was like painting, like graffiti on it with the face of the Minister of Finance and with his own quote about Bitcoin. He stated something like, I don't know about Bitcoin anything, but as far as I know, nobody's using it. Yeah, and after we made this graffiti, one of the guys of his PR team contacted us that he wants to visit us and blah blah blah. And we said, we don't cooperate with politics, but there will be guys from all over the world because we have the conference, and of course there were the guys from General Bytes, from Trezor, and also Andreas Antonopoulos. I just mentioned him because he's probably one of the famous advocates for Bitcoin in the world. I'm not sure.
I mean, in Romania, we also have Mircea Popescu. I'm not sure if you're aware of what he has been up to. I think he died last year. I'm saying I think because he's the kind of guy who would have definitely faked his own death. But I don't want to get into that. But the idea is that when the government needed some sort of advice from someone to do policy, they brought Brock Pierce, of all people. And he came and introduced himself as member of the Bitcoin Foundation, which is funny. And this was this year. It was not in 2014 or something. It was this year that they had him. So I don't know why politicians always look up to someone from another country when they need to do policy, when they could just ask people who have been doing this for many years.
With Andrej Babiš, the guy here, it was more like PR event. It was not mentioned that he really would like to hear something about Bitcoin. He was doing it like it's kind of kiss of death from him, that if someone criticizes him, he meet him, then he make nice PR photos, and that he is that cool guy that he takes criticism very well. That's why we actually it was forbidden for them to make any PR photos here, because we really don't want to have anything with any politicians. So yeah, but as I guess it's with politicians, it's they if they can, and maybe it's more like our Eastern European thing, that we bring someone from the West, and it creates more credit to it. I don't know. I don't get it, but usually it's like that.
There's this old saying that nobody's a prophet in his own country. So
Exactly.
I think it's even from the Bible. It's very old.
Probably. I'm not sure. I never read. I try to read the Bible.
It's a hard book. Anyway, what else is there to say about Paralelni Polis? Like, I guess let's get into the controversial part. Last year, I think Peter Todd did not want to attend the event, and he made a big deal out of the fact that you were doing mandatory COVID testing at the door. And some people followed him in the sense that they refused to come also. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, are you going to do that this year or...
Yeah, there were a lot of shitstorms about this. It was mandatory. The COVID testing. It was perfectly anonymous. It was nothing connected with the government or government rules. We did it even when it was not the rule in Czech Republic, and it was because we wanted to actually create the safe place for people, because it was during the pandemic, and there were a lot of people who were afraid of it still, and there were people who were dying of COVID. Yeah, so we wanted to create, as I said, safe space. We were accused that we are collecting DNA samples, something like that. I said, guys, we have cafe. If you don't bring your own glasses, and we have toilets there, like we can collect the DNA samples in the most better way than with the obvious like COVID tests when you spit on something, wait like 5 minutes or something like that, and the COVID testing was actually took place during the whole the first and the second pandemic wave here, and it actually saved us because we are not the large team. There are like 5, 6, 7 people here at Paralelni Polis running it, and if someone gets sick, it can if 1 or 2 people are getting sick, it's still doable. But with the COVID, if like half of the staff would get sick, then we should shut the business. And we probably wouldn't recover from it because we don't have like large funds. We usually live from like, let's say, paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. So that, and we actually, if we catched someone from the team who got COVID, he stood away from others for a week or two, I don't remember, and others could work and like keep the place running. Yeah. I know, like it is annoying if you come to the place and you have to go to the test. I know it's we were not like happy to do that, but it was actually necessary for us to do that. So I really don't understand the way the people, even they know us for a long time. They know that we are not and we many times we proved it that we don't cooperate with the government in any ways. We were sued by governments many times. We refused to implement many of the regulations, and still we are accused that we are cooperating with the government in the most stupid way. Yeah, so I don't get it. Sometimes it was I don't want to be like emotional, but from some people it actually hurts, I would say.
Yeah, so just for the record, they did not test me before coming here.
No, because we don't see the COVID as a threat now. That's why we don't test already. If another some variants of COVID, some dangerous one will come again, probably we will again introduce the testing. But it's not that we love testing. We don't. But we just want to stay open. Because one of the concepts of Paralelni Polis is sustainability. It shouldn't be some flash event or flash to be open for a while and then shut down.
I was also a co-host of the 2020 event, and I know you have to go. And it was interesting to see so many people mobilizing to organize and become co-hosts and just be there for an hour interviewing others. And it was a huge event, and it only proved that you guys have a cultural relevance. And even people who, like myself, I never attended one of your events in Meatspace. But when I got the chance to be a co-host for 2 episodes of my podcast, which, I mean, I turned part of the live stream into episodes of my podcast with John Carvalho and Jonas Nick and Max Hillbrand and Peter Todd and Alekos Fellini. That was like a 4-way interview. I very much appreciated the opportunity, and I hope that this year I get to come to Pizza Day. So there's not going to be the Hackers Congress. It's called Pizza Day.
No, it's 2 different events. Hackers Congress is always the first weekend of the October every year. It's gonna take place here, definitely. And Pizza Day is on the anniversary of the buying the pizzas.
Okay, so I guess I would have a couple more questions, but you have to go, and I
already had to go.
I very much appreciate your time, and I wish you best of luck. And next time I'm in Prague, I'm gonna come and try your hot chocolate once again because it was delicious. Maybe get some merchandise because it's very cool. I've seen people who have no affiliation with Paralelni Polis, but they get that Institute of Crypto Anarchy t-shirt and they wear it at conferences. And usually I assume that they're Czech, but they're not. That they're just people who like your work. So yeah, I'm jealous. Maybe one day my t-shirts are going to have the same cultural relevance, but it'll take like 10 years, I think. But yeah, thank you very much for joining.
Mulțumesc. And thank you for having me here.
Gold and Bitcoin
Vaultoro is the exchange where you deal with honest and hard money. There is no fiat on-ramp or off-ramp, and you get to diversify your Bitcoin portfolio into gold or silver when you sense that a bearish moment is coming. Also, you can instantly trade your gold for Bitcoin to buy the dip. And if you're into gold custody, Vaultoro can also send you the gold that you own directly from their insured Swiss vaulting facilities. Vaultoro was launched in the aftermath of the Mt. Gox hack, so since 2015 they have published monthly glass books to prove that they own all the gold reserves and all of their customers' money. Sign up today by going to vaultoro.com/Bitcoin takeover. Keep in mind that this is not financial advice and you are responsible for your own decisions. Wasabi Wallet is the perfect Bitcoin privacy wallet. It's free, it's open source, it's available on Windows, macOS, and Linux, and it offers groundbreaking Chaumian CoinJoins, which makes your Bitcoin. Even if you do not use the CoinJoin feature, you still benefit from a trustless experience with block filters, a hidden IP address via Tor, and easy management of your wallet outputs. After you deal with KYC exchanges like Coinbase, like Kraken, Binance, Gemini, or Bitfinex, you can remove the association between your identity and your Bitcoin address by performing a few rounds of CoinJoins. To find out more about the privacy benefits and limitations of CoinJoins, listen to Bitcoin Takeover Podcast Season 6, Episode 6 with Max Hilbrand. And if you want to give Wasabi a try, go to wasabiwallet.io and download the wallet for free. Wasabi Wallet, a Bitcoin privacy wallet for the citadels.